show at the bottom when you mute it.
Like it's a mute, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
just making sure because my video has the video camera and has an X to it. But then the-
Are you on?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look. You know, as smart as you are, I'm surprised you didn't ask. Oh wait, you're not on the video, right?
No, no.
Push me.
Because I'm not, now, okay, lawyers need to unmute. Morning. I've
Good
read
morning,
the,
Your Honor.
Good morning.
read the pleadings from both sides, and is there anything new? I didn't see anything online that had been filed.
No, I have not filed anything, Judge.
Okay, so I read the affidavits of both sides. Have you two talked at all to try and see where we are and what basis for agreement, if any, we have? So I can put you in a breakout to talk about that.
If you could just for a minute, because I'm not familiar with Ms. Mance. I apologize. I've been in court, the last week, and I didn't get around to
Yeah.
calling your judge. If just a few minutes, I think we can either
Yeah, I
narrow
mean,
it
it
down.
looked to me like there's probably middle ground here. And I always like to work with the lawyers, let the lawyers work together and then work with the lawyers and then see if we have to have testimony. But Darren, can you put both of them into a breakout, please?
Sure.
Okay.
It probably will go with somebody.
That constitutional argument, which is really just a concocted argument so that they don't have to get to the merits of the case. Yeah, that's right. John is, are there any lines left to be made up? Republicans.
And you just joined the meeting again, but the lawyer's in a breakout. They're talking to see what can be worked out. So we're just on hold until they come back.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Rodriguez, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hey, Donna. Hey, Donna Reed.
Yes. Yes.
I can't believe you never met Lulu.
Oh, no, I never.
I know. That was,
How long ago was that?
it was, I got her in 2001 after I had the prostate cancer surgery.
Oh, I can't believe I never met her either.
Yeah.
Well, she's beautiful.
Escaped. Well, she escaped and a couple of years later, and that was it.
Aw.
Bad, yeah. She was
I'm
good.
going to get a new dog today.
Rescue, I mean, a foster.
Yeah, it's at the vet. It's been ran over. So they had to do a surgery, and then I got to take it back to do another surgery, hip surgery.
I got one yesterday, a new one.
Did you really?
Yeah, she's broken. I've got her in my bathroom. She's a broken dog.
Mine's broken, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember showing you the puppy that was in Ken Lipscomb's office, his receptionist, a young woman?
Yes.
She was in a car wreck, and you'd remember it if I showed it to you, Donna. I'll show you on the screen, but she was in a bad car wreck, and she was not hurt, but the dog is paralyzed in the back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a real cute golden.
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, I'm glad she wasn't hurt. It's so sad for the poor puppy.
Yeah, but she says the puppy just doesn't realize he's any different and just keeps, so she's having to be immobile and see if he can heal.
Difficult.
And Darian, sometime we need to get together this week for the mail, if nothing else. Oh, and that letter that you were drafting.
Yeah, I've got it. I was going to bring it to you in person.
Well, I guess I sign that one. Hard copy. Yeah, that's how Darian and Donna and I communicate now. We don't ever see each other, so we have to talk on the TV or whatever this thing is.
so that
Okay, I'm back.
Hi, Judge.
Hi there. How'd we do?
Well, I
Um,
think, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think there's an agreement, Judge, but I think we can narrow things down. Ms. Bansky says she has a nurse or some medical professional. She can call her first, just so we don't keep her waiting. And I was
Okay.
planning to call the investigator to explain, why why the department felt it necessary to file that motion and ask for whatever remedy, the investigator can ask, how the investigation's going and what the department's actually asking the court to do.
Okay. Okay, Colleen,
Yes, sir.
who's the witness? I see.
It's Katie Palmero. She
Okay.
is a nurse. Yeah, she's a nurse practitioner.
Yeah, Caitlin. Katie, yeah, you've unmuted. No, unmute, please.
Hello, I'm Katie Palermo.
Yeah, hi. Would you raise your right hand and do you swear to tell the truth in your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Colleen, please proceed.
Good morning, Miss Palermo. Could you state your name and spell it for the record, please?
Caitlin Palermo, Kaitlin, Palermo, Palermo.
And I'm Colleen Mansky. I'm the attorney, as you know, for the Hogstons, and this is Robert Scott. He's also part of our team. I just have a few quick questions for you. First of all, where do you practice?
At MEHOP Women's and Children's Clinic, 111 Avenue F, Bay City, Texas.
And what is your position there?
I'm a family nurse practitioner in the pediatric clinic.
And how long have you been doing that?
It will be 2 years in April.
And have you been doing that at the same clinic there in Bay City?
Mostly at that clinic. Other than that, there is a clinic in Wharton that I've seen adults at, and then also the family medical clinic in Bay City, but all under MEHOP umbrella.
Okay. And are you currently see a patient with the child of the Hogstons?
Yes.
Okay. And how old is that child?
4 months. We just saw him for a 4-month appointment.
And that was just a few weeks ago, is correct?
Yes, the 29th, I believe.
The 29th. And is there anything, have you had any issues with, found anything, any issues with this child, with this baby, this infant?
I'll say he's appropriate height or appropriate weight. His milestones have been met. There doesn't appear to be any concerns.
Any concerns? No signs of abuse?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. And he's going to be coming back in March, isn't that right?
Yes, it'd be for a 6-month appointment.
Checkup. And then what happens after the 6-month checkup? Does he come back a few months later?
There's usually a 9-month, a 12-month, 15, 18, 24. Yes.
Yeah. I forgot mine are 9, so I forgot all those doctors.
Yes.
So, okay. So when you examine this infant, any infant, what do you do? Do you take they're in their diapers, isn't that right?
Yes, usually. If they have a onesie on, then I have the parent bring it up or take it off.
Right.
But I do a full skin assessment, heart, lungs, neuro.
Right. So you basically have your hands and your sight all over this child while you're with them for probably 5-10 minutes. Isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have anything?
Make sure it's clear that the child she's talking about is the same child.
And is this the same child that we're talking about as being referenced in this CPS case?
What child?
The one we're talking about, Ezra Hogston.
Do you have a birthday?
Does he have a birthday? Yeah, it's September.
Yes, September 16th, 2020.
Okay, then yes, this is the same infant.
Ezra J. Hogston, September 16th, 2020.
And he's come to you since he was born, isn't that right?
Yes.
So you've been the only, that you know of, the only care provider.
That I know of, yes, ma'am.
Yes. I think you have been, so. I don't think I have anything else. Pass the witness.
Yeah, Brian? Any questions? Oh, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the pass. I was waiting for the next question. And ma'am, and I just want to confirm that I understand, were you part of the last few days of January that, I think is it called a wellness exam?
Yes, a well baby, well visit, Texas Health Steps, any of those.
Okay. And I've looked it over, and at height and weight, is Ezra's height and weight appropriate for his age?
Yes, he's growing well.
Okay. And do you know what a full skeletal evaluation is?
I mean, I go off of appearance and, making sure that there's no hip clicks or deformities noted in the spine. I mean, yes, I know what a skeletal evaluation
Okay.
is.
And
Yes.
And MEHOP, what does that stand for?
Matagorda Episcopal Health Outreach Program.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure what that meant.
It's just easier to say MEHOP.
Exactly. I didn't understand it the first time I saw it because I'm not from that area. I'm sorry.
Sure.
And have you ever treated a child who had a full skeletal evaluation or examination?
I have done my skeletal exam, and if I found abnormality, I had referred them to an orthopedic or a specialist. I don't take on the full responsibility of treating if I find an abnormality.
Okay.
If that's what you're asking.
And what would a full skeletal examination find, either good or bad? I mean, what's the checklist, I guess, is on
Range of motion of all of the joints, palpation of the bones, checking circulation, pulses throughout, ability, active or passive range of motion. Those are some things.
Okay. Was some of that done in your wellness exam?
Yes, I check range of motion, especially in my infants, and as well as checking for developmental hip dysplasia, looking at their spine, assessing if they can, at certain months, if they can push up in a tummy time type position, those types of things. So.
And did you see any bruising or anything, like any marks or anything on Ezra, the child?
I did not, as noted in my documents.
Okay. And was there a doctor involved in this wellness exam?
I have a supervising physician, and then there's a pediatrician in the office with us, but a physician was not present at the exam.
Okay. And do you think that there should be and believe you said that there's a next visit in March and then a series of follow-ups. Do you see any need for any more intensive procedures or type of exams for Ezra at this time?
Nothing more than the routine need, his 6-month checkup, his 9-month checkup. And so on.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Anything further, Colleen?
Yes, just 1 second, Judge. One question. When you talked about how you were asked about how you examine Ezra without the physician present, is that part of the normal course of business when you examine an infant?
Yes. So I have a supervising physician. That does not necessarily mean physically supervising me at every appointment. They're available for questions under my nurse practitioner license. Having a supervising physician that's available for questions, reviews 10% of my charts each month, and I do a face-to-face conference with them once a month for any concerns that I might have on top of that, and education. But under my license, I am able to see children. I'm family, so the lifespan without a physical physician present.
Okay.
How long have you been licensed, Caitlin?
Since February of 2019.
And were you an RN before that?
Yes,
So
for 7 years now.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's all I had to ask.
Oh, Judge, I did think of one question. I
Sure.
forgot. Ms. Palermo, have you talked to Mr. Rodriguez, the CPS investigator, regarding Ezra?
I did not speak to him.
Okay. Have you talked to anyone from CPS or the department?
No, I've personally not talked to anyone from CPS.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
So she may be excused then, Colleen?
Yes, she can.
Okay, thank you very much. We
Thank you.
input. Okay, now, Brian, did you want to call your, Ms. Little?
I was going to call Mr. Rodriguez. He's the investigator. So I think he has more hands-on, and I'm not sure if I need this investigator or not, or the supervisor. I'm sorry, Ms. Little.
Yeah, it looked like they both had hands-on, but.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mr. Rodriguez, would you raise your right hand and do you swear to tell the truth in your testimony? And
Yes, sir.
that's a yes. That's the only answer that we. It's a formality, but that's fine. Okay, please proceed.
And Mr. Rodriguez, if you can just state your name and confirm that you're the investigator regarding Ezra Hogston, the child.
My name is Jeremy Rodriguez, CPS and investigator for the department.
And have you been assigned a case involving Ezra Hogston?
Yes, I have.
And when were you assigned the case?
Back in October, I was assigned the case.
Okay. And what was the allegations that you received that started your case?
Well, there was concern of a report was generated when Elijah was born, or shortly after. The department received a generated report. Due to the family's history, there was concerns of possible physical abuse.
Okay. And what was the first actions that you took?
Well, I staffed the case with my supervisor moving forward. And I requested a welfare check be done by Wharton.
And law enforcement? By law enforcement?
I've got a question. The report, you said a report was made. Did it come from outside the department or inside the department?
It came from statistics, vitals and statistics, sir.
Okay, so it's based on the prior incident with the 4-month-old child back in 2019.
Yes, sir.
Just automatically generated because of that. That's what it sounds like. Is that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And once you staffed the case, you asked law enforcement to do what's called a welfare check?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And after the welfare check was done by law enforcement, what was your next step?
My next step was I was able to make contact with the family. At that time, I was able to make contact with Ms. Hogston and Ezra
And
at their residence.
okay. And at that time, you were able to see the child?
Yes.
And physically, did you have any concerns about his physical condition at that time back in October?
No, I did not. The mother was cooperative and compliant when contact was made.
Okay. And did you tell the mother why you were there?
Yes.
Okay. And you said she was cooperative at that time?
Yes, sir.
And did the mother confirm that the father was currently had a terms of a bond or a probation?
Yes, that was, yes.
And did you ever talk to Mr. Hogston?
No, I did not.
Okay. And were you able to confirm that Mr. Hogston has either bond conditions or probation conditions?
Yes, I was able to speak to the officer involved with the family.
Okay. And what is your understanding of his bond, Mr. Hoxton's bond conditions?
Well, prior to contact being made, there was a safety plan in place, basically in which the child will be taken care of by multiple people amongst the family or friends, and that Mr. Hoxton could not or would not have any unsupervised contact with the child.
Okay. And did the mother confirm that that was her understanding, that the dad was not to be alone with the child?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I think, let me interrupt a second. I think I read in your pleadings, Brian, that Mr. Rodriguez, whoever, confirmed that the father would not reside at the residence. Is that correct? That was a voluntary agreement?
Yeah, Mr. Rodriguez, did you ask, is that part, there was a safety plan that was attached, I think, to the parents'
So
injunction. Was there a safety plan completed that Mr. Hoxton would move out?
recently, when I made contact with the family again, I was notified to make contact with the family again. It was voluntary, told that he removed himself for the residence for that one night only until the case was to be able to be staffed with legal.
Okay.
And he's staying with an in-law, basically. The grandfather's girlfriend, I think is what the report was. At least that,
It was for that one evening, sir,
yeah, okay.
but I believe he's back home at the residence currently.
Okay.
I would imagine.
Okay.
And back in October, this initial visit with the mom and the child at the residence, what was your next step after that?
My next step was to, I was in communication with the probation officer to verify the conditions, the safety plan, if there were any concerns, if he was reporting as directed, in which the officer didn't have any concerns for the family. He was reporting as directed.
And were at that time between October and the end of January, were you able to observe or obtain and review any medical records for Ezra?
Yeah, Ms. Hoxton provided me the medical information in regards to the most recent appointment, in which through MIHA, spoke to medical staff there, in which there was no concerns for the well-being or the health of the child.
And was that the visit that the nurse just testified about, or was that a earlier exam?
That was the appointment that the nurse testified.
Okay, the one that just happened at the end of January, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any medical records that indicate, that there's a finding of like injury or marks or anything like that?
No, I do not.
Okay. And at the end, when did you, after the initial October visit, when was the last time or the next time after that initial visit that you talked to the mother?
I believe it was sometime in November. In regards to me attempting to reach out to her. Physically, I didn't see the family or the child until contact was made at the end of January.
Okay. And were you able to see Ezra at the end of January?
Yes, sir, I was.
And did you see anything that concerned you at that time?
No, I did not. The family had proper sleeping arrangements for the child, and the child seemed to be healthy and well taken care of.
Okay. And sorry, Judge, I thought I turned my phone off.
It's okay.
And today's hearing, the department has not asked for custody of Ezra. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And the affidavit you signed, you have at the conclusion, you have a list of services recommended. What does the department now? Do you believe that you've made a full investigation regarding Ezra?
No.
And what do you think the department requires that what are you asking the judge to order be done so the department can feel comfortable that they've done a full investigation?
Well, we're requesting a full skeletal evaluation examination be done.
And let me stop. Let's go down the whole. Why do you think, or why does the department think that's necessary?
To ensure that there's no internal injuries or concerns with the child.
And does the department would recommend who would do that?
We have a abuse clinic down Texas Children in Houston.
Okay.
A clinic team that would be able to.
And in addition to that medical examination of the child, what else have you requested?
To fully interview.
I've got the list in front of me and
okay. Well,
I'll take judicial notice since it's part of the record.
Okay, thank you. Let me just ask him to summarize why the department thinks that's necessary. I think that's what I was getting to. Mr. Ryrie, if you can just summarize to the judge why the department feels it's necessary to do all those the steps in your investigation to complete your investigation.
So we can complete and conduct, excuse me, a full investigation of the family, which includes interviewing anybody with access to the child and a full skeletal evaluation moving forward.
And what I'm going to do in a minute is go over the A through G list. We're starting with Colleen and let her tell me what's agreeable and why not and what to other things. So
okay. And yeah, that was my last question for now, Judge. So okay.
Okay. Colin, you want to ask any questions or you want to let's go over this first and see where we are? I think I know what the evidence is and well, you're muted.
Yes, Judge, I'm sorry. You want to just start going over the A through G? Is that what you said?
You can ask questions, but I think I kind of know what the answers are. I mean, Mr. Rodriguez has been very, very open and frank and candid. So,
right. I just have a few questions first, Your Honor.
Sure, go ahead.
So, isn't it true, is it Mr. Rodriguez, that you made contact? You first sent a sheriff's deputy out for a welfare check on October. It was on October 21st of 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then and that sheriff's deputy told you that the child looked in good condition, didn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the next day you go when you make contact with a child, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the child was born on November 16th, correct?
September 16th.
Right, September 16th, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when you say that this report was generated in Vital and Statistics, what do you have that report?
I have the report that was generated through the system.
And you have that in front of you?
I can get that report in front of me.
Okay, what do you remember about what does it tell you?
Offhand, it basically, in a nutshell, talked about the the concern of the family's previous child involving the child's death.
What is vital and statistics? What is that? Is that a,
Offhand, I don't have that answer.
is there a person that sent this to you? Like, does it come in an email? Like, what does it? How do you get this information?
Well, a report is generated into our intake office, and then intake will route it to the counties that are where the parents are residing and so forth. Like any other case, mostly we get, if a reporter calls or somebody would call in a case, but this was not, to my knowledge, it was not called in.
It was, nothing was called in. So Vital and Statistics is a government agency.
I believe so, yes.
So you get an email. How did you, I'm trying to figure out how you actually started contact with this family. Like,
So a report was generated, which was sent to our intake office. The intake office routed it to the counties that are needed, and then it was routed to my caseload.
So how does it show up at your desk? Is it come in an email? Does it come on a file? Does it come?
It comes through our software that we use through the state, and then we pull up the report, and then from there we follow directions or directives from our supervisor moving forward once we get that case.
So did you get a directive from your supervisor?
Yes.
And that would be Callie?
At the time, it was Susanna Mejia.
Okay. And she's the one that says, we have something from Vital and Statistics and you need to go check on this family. Is that how it goes?
If we get a case, depending on the priority, if it's a P2 or a P1, P1 is to make contact with the family within a 24-hour period. So this came in as a P1, which is why a welfare check was requested.
Okay. So in a P1, if I'm looking at the handbook for the CPS handbook, it talks about P1 as being that they face an immediate threat. Is that right?
Immediate concern, threat. I mean, yes.
26 section 2143.1, it says assigning a report as priority 1, P1. The following report qualifies for assignments as P1, and it says there's kind of 3, maybe, let me go to the next page. When there's examples of P1s, but it basically talks about a report that a child appears to face an immediate threat to his or her safety or is an immediate risk of abuse or neglect that could result in death or serious harm. And then there's a couple other ones talk about abuse within the last 12 months. Which one did this fall under?
This falls under P1, ma'am.
I know, but which, it says the following reports qualify for P1, and which kind of report did you get? Was it an immediate threat?
It was a immediate concern of abuse and neglect.
Okay. Based on what?
Based on the family's history.
Okay. And that you got that history from Vital and Statistics, or you got that from Susanna Mija? Say her name.
I got that. I'm sorry, what was it?
And so your prior supervisor was the one that you got that information from, correct?
Yeah, it was routed to put on my caseload, yes.
Okay, and because okay. And where is your prior supervisor? Does she still work for CPS? Do you know?
I don't
know.
I'm not positive.
Okay, so I want to just move on and let's I have a few more questions. So you, in your affidavit, you stated on that you actually made contact with the Hogston baby physician. I think it's on page 2. Is which physician did you talk to?
I spoke to MEHOPS. I have several people involved there, several pediatricians and several doctors.
You haven't.
And during that time when contact was made with Ms. Hogston, towards the end of January, this is when I contacted MHOP in regards to any concerns that they had in the fact and following up with the family's checkup with the
Okay,
which was verified. They verified that I
right.
believe Mr. Hoxton and the caregiver brought the
Okay.
child.
The question was, what physician did you talk to? You stated that you talked to a physician. Which one did you talk to?
Not positive, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't have that name in front of me.
Okay, let's move on. Do you have a copy of the safety plan that probation has in place with the Hogston family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you're
Let me
satisfied,
see. Sorry?
and you're happy with that, aren't you? Moving forward, yes. Yeah, because they're following it, correct?
To my knowledge, yes, and
Right.
there hasn't been any call outs from law enforcement or any concerns by adult probation.
Okay, so there's no concerns, and in your as far as the pediatrician, well, actually the nurse practitioner, she also at the clinic they feel like there's no issues with the infant as well. So then when you had the let's move back. So you had a brief contact with them in October of 2020, and then the next time that you actually have contact with them is in just a few weeks ago at the end of January of 2021. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. Face-to-face contact, yes.
Okay. And again, you have talked with the probation officer. He has no concerns,
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
and they're still following the plan.
That's correct.
And obviously, we just covered that you've made contact with the clinic, and they don't have any concerns.
That's correct.
Okay. And you also, I want to add that last 2 weeks ago, when you had another deputy come out and check them on 128/21, isn't that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
And that was another welfare check.
That's correct.
But you had no reports of anything happening.
That's correct.
Okay, but you sent a deputy out there again.
That's correct.
Okay, and the next day you went and everything was fine. You saw the baby and all was good. I want to ask about haven't you already been provided with the information for the caregiver for the child? All the caregivers?
When I made contact with the family that evening, I was provided a name and the phone number of the paternal grandfather's girlfriend, who is the main caregiver for the child during the day while the parents work.
Okay, so you have that information.
Yes, ma'am.
And we've already confirmed with the doctor's office that the child is in very good condition.
Yes,
And have they provided you with their work schedules and that already?
Mr. Hoxton, I believe, in regards to the caregiver, one of the things that we were requesting is like a full interview, which in regards to, I might have her name, but to run a full history on the caregiver involving, criminal background or any CPS history that may have. So, but in regards to Mr. Hoxton's work schedule, I do not have that.
Wouldn't probation have that?
I'm sorry?
Doesn't adult probation have that?
They may have, yes. I would imagine, yes.
Okay. And because Mr. Hogston is on pretrial supervision, you already know that. So he already has a government agency that's monitoring everything that they do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But I think there was in Mr. Rodriguez's affidavit, he indicated he'd had trouble communicating with the probation officer. So,
Well,
I'm sorry.
He did say that, but I think there was a period of time where the probation officer was out with COVID, Your Honor.
okay. I mean, there should be no reason that they don't have communication between the agents.
Yes, sir.
But there are other probation officers within the department that could easily answer any questions about Mr. Hogston.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't stop with Mr. Hurley. Okay, so I don't have anything further at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Brian, anything further? Well, you're muted.
Sorry. No other questions, Judge.
Okay. Let's stay on the call, everybody, because I may have more questions or you may have comments. Okay, let's go over this A through G list and see where the respondents or plaintiffs or petitioners, respondents, whatever, which case we're talking about. Hey, first thing, Colleen, do I have the criminal case or does Judge Clapp have it?
You have the criminal case, Judge.
Okay. I know we're not having trials or anything. When's the next setting on that case? I don't recall anything about it, so.
Honor, I don't have that.
It's okay.
But they do want to try the case later this year. I will tell you that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see. There's such a stacked up demand for criminal cases, and there's been, several murders in both Matagorda and Wharton counties, so we've got to deal with that. But anyway, okay, the first thing, the full skeletal evaluation, and I understand that would be in Houston. And how would the child get to Houston? Brian, can you answer that, or Mr. Rodriguez, either one?
I believe they would get a transporter. Is that how it would work? Would the parents be able to go, Jeremy, or how is that? Or
the parents would be able to go.
Do you schedule it and then go with them? How does that work?
We would reach out to them, or they could go directly into the ER and request the abusive clinic team at the hospital. Okay. And inform them that in regards to the CPS.
Well, I mean, is there anything magical about these people in Houston that do this that couldn't be done at local hospital? For example, where Caitlin.
To my knowledge, sir, that's what we use and utilize is Texas Children.
Yeah.
I believe that's who the whole region uses, all the CPS and all the Harris, all of the counties and around.
And they're certified in medical and physical child abuse, which is why they're the abuse clinic team.
What's your position on this?
What is my position on the child being subjected to unnecessary medical procedures?
Okay, that tells me what your position is.
Yeah, I mean, it would, of course, we wouldn't, if we didn't have a position where there was obvious abuse with this child. There's none, zero. We have just heard from the child's caregiver, medical caregiver who's been dealing with this infant since birth.
Well, okay, at this point, I'm not going to order that and hope that I never have to. That's the problem with these cases. I mean, we're all here with the primary objective of taking care of all children, this baby in particular. So, I mean, you want to err on the side of overprotection rather than underprotection. Okay, number B, providing identifying information. It sounds like you don't have any problem with that. And is it the grandfather's girlfriend who's the primary caretaker?
At this time, yes, it is, Your Honor. And according to my clients, it has been provided, but they would be more than happy to provide it again. I don't know why we need to subject this woman to a background check and all other things.
Well, it's not gonna, I mean, the department would do it. It would be kind of painless, I guess. And I mean, they could do one on me if they, I guess, if they wanted to. Anybody could. So
Yeah.
I don't see that that's a problem really. Now the full interview, I don't know. Let's get the identifying information and background and then see if you need an interview, because basically there's no reports on the babysitter. There's no nothing. So, it's making her go through an interrogation seems over the top. Okay. Any visitor that's, I mean, the mailman comes and rings the doorbell. That's a little too much in this case. What about psychological mental health evaluation for Elijah, the father?
Well, obviously, I would object to that, Your Honor, because of our pending criminal case.
Okay, because of Fifth Amendment?
Correct, absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's something that would have to be explored, but on the face of it, I would agree with that. Work schedules. Do both parents work?
Yes, Your Honor, they do both work.
And is there any reason not to give the department their work schedules?
We don't have any issue with that.
Okay. So just you take care of getting that
Yes.
to Brian and to Mr. Rodriguez.
Okay.
And then allow open communication. I've already said there's no reason that the probation department and the CPS people should not be able to talk freely about anything involving people.
Yes.
So, and if I need to do anything to facilitate that, I'm happy to do it, but I don't think that's necessary.
Is that what you meant, Jeremy? That last number G, that probation would talk to you?
Well, you're muted.
If anything should change or occur,
Okay.
in regard to the safety plan that their department has in place for the family.
Okay. That they would tell you if they change it or if there's a bond revocation or something
Yes,
like that. Okay.
And that's basically it. I mean, I think we ought to put this safety plan incorporated into any order we have. And do we want to, we probably should combine these cases into one case. Is there, well, of course, one's a family case and one's a civil case. Is there any reason, or does it matter? Just leave it as it is with two cases?
I don't really know the answer to that question, Judge.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't either.
If you just want to merge them,
Oh, can I say something, Your Honor?
Of course.
I guess the one thing that I would like to put forward is I want to have an understanding. I think what we're also asking the court is, are we agreeing to that CPS we really don't want them just randomly showing up with, the police showing up and saying on welfare checks, and, it's kind of stressful they're already working. They have a young child, they have a pending criminal case, and there's no evidence of abuse. Can they just get any information, CPS, any information that they need, they can just get it through probation?
Well, I mean, the only issue is if there's any kind of emergency, but I would think they'd be hearing that from probation.
That's what I'm saying. It's just random showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it, Brian, what about that? Is that?
Yeah. Jeremy, like from after today, would there be any need to contact them once a month? What is
I would staff it with, following.
If nothing changes,
Staff it with my supervisors and follow up with 30-day contacts. Just me having a 30-day contact with the child.
As long as your investigation's open, you have to see him once a month, right?
Or yes. Yes.
Okay. Can I ask a question? How long will this investigation last? Do you have any idea?
No, ma'am. I don't have any idea how long it will last.
Is there any statutory limit on, I know there's statutory limits on removing kids, but is there anything on these open investigations?
Yeah, it's 60 days, Your Honor.
Okay, and it was opened in October, I guess.
Right. There's a, in the CPS handbook, and I hope I have the right, I'm reading this correctly, but it's section 2315. It says investigations is open for more than 60 days. And there's the rules. It says if an investigation has been open for more than 60 days from the date of intake, the supervisor administratively closes the investigation if all the following criteria are met. And there's several criteria. I can read them, or we can just look into that, right? We can all look at it online, or if you want me to read it, Judge, I can.
Yeah, read it, because I'm not going to look at it online.
Okay. No, the first one is no previous reports of abuse or neglect involve any principal in the investigation.
Okay, we have that though. That's
Yeah.
the other child.
And then the rest of it would not apply because they don't have any more, they don't have any extra reports of abuse.
Right. So,
and there's,
so basically the answer is until the criminal case is resolved, one way or the other, it's that investigation would remain open. Does that sound right to everybody? I mean, Little maybe shaking her head. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. How long? I mean, it's probably, especially with COVID, I know in other counties, the criminal cases are just sitting there. We have some parents that would have their bond or probation revoked for drug violations, but they're just sitting there because they can't process them, unless they plea. But how, with how open-ended is this investigation? Or dependent on the criminal case, either Jeremy or Ms. Little?
The investigation on this isn't dependent on the criminal case. It's dependent on us getting information to determine if abuse or neglect has happened to Ezra, which is why the information, what we're requesting from the court. So once that information is obtained and we can determine abuse or neglect or no abuse or neglect, our investigation would be ended at that time. Obviously, if there's abuse or neglect found, we would look at further intervention with the family. Mm-hmm. But if there's nothing founded, then the investigation would technically be complete at that time.
Okay. Why don't we set a status conference 60 days out to see where we are? Does that sound fair to everyone?
Yes, that sounds very fair, Judge. And
okay.
I would think at that time, if there's still no evidence of anything, that we would ask the case to be closed with CPS.
Yeah, always subject to being reopened if there are problems, of course.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Yeah, we could have the same folks on the line then. Darian, you're on there. You want to give us a date?
The next date is going to be
remember 60 days out.
Be April 26th.
Is that that's not an ancillary date? What is that? Just a regular Wharton?
I'm sorry, the 19th. It's a Wharton civil trial week, but we can have an ancillary at 10 a.m.
Okay. Yeah, we're not going to have. Well, we might have a criminal trial actually. So yeah, we could do a Zoom at 10 on the 19th. Is that okay with lawyers? Anyway,
yes, that's fine with my schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make it work. I have a question though before we part, Judge, if that's okay.
Sure.
In the 60-day period, what would we be needing to do would be the question. As far as
I think this 30-day check would happen twice. Okay.
Right.
That would be come look at the child, talk to the parents, and make sure that the safety plan is being complied with and there are no problems. And then we'll see, then have that status conference and see what the caseworkers have found, if anything.
Okay. And is this going to be, are they going to be also bringing a sheriff's deputy like in the past, like they've been doing, or is he just going to make an appointment?
Not the way I heard it. It's a caseworker going out there. Is that right, Jeremy?
Yes, sir. I'll be the one going out there,
Okay,
not utilizing any sheriff's department.
okay.
May
Yeah,
I add, it wouldn't be an appointment, it would be unannounced, so we can ensure the safety plan is being followed.
I think we understand that.
Yeah, we understand that, Judge. I understand that.
And it can either be at the babysitter's or the home, depending on the time of day. Now, and I will try to consolidate these cases under the first filed, whichever one. I think that's Colleen's case, the civil case. But who wants to prepare an order?
Judge, I have like a blank order template. Why don't I start a draft and I'll forward to Ms. Mansky, and then
Yeah.
if I
But
forget
don't send it to me until y'all have an agreement on the language. And if there's questions, you can get with me about what I think I said. And we always have Donna's notes. So,
Yes, that sounds good, Judge.
okay.
And be sure and send me the order when it's finalized.
Okay,
Judge's signature.
sounds good.
Okay, and I just before we part, I want to clarify that we're operating under the safety plan of probation, and Mr. Hogston is staying in the home, and the safety plan that was created a couple weeks ago is not.
No unsupervised time with the child is the main, I guess, the main feature of that. And then what we've said today about the unannounced 30-day checks. But basically, yeah, we're referring to the safety plan. That's the basic document.
The probation safety plan. Yes, sir. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Okay. I'm going to end the meeting if there's nothing else. And thank you all, and appreciate the work you.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for hearing this.
Of course. Okay.
Thank you.
Here we go. Leave. Well, I'm leaving. I'll leave the meeting.
Okay.